This is Steve coming at you from the load, unload corner.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. A little YouTube video action here.
Beautiful day, huh?
Yeah, we got a great day going. You may not or may not be able to see through the bars here, but this is where the boats come into Shill Shoal. This is the A dock where the big Hefe vessels live, and I'll be able to show you a little bit of that in a different video. Follow up, an ancillary, as they say, video to this. I'm just staring at the Blue Peter here, which I may have mentioned on another video. It's just this really cool 1928 all fixed up motor yacht, about 80-90 feet long, so appropriate for this conversation. Really quickly, this is the start of a multi-step acquisition process where we start with a small vessel, sailor power, looking really like it's going to be power first and then sail second, but it doesn't really matter because they're going to be so close together, days, possibly even in some cases hours apart in acquisition, and paid for within days also. And it's going to step up from vessels that are 40 or 50 feet to start with to vessels that are 70, 80, 90 feet, and then over 100 feet. And at the end of the process, in a week to 10 days, maybe as much as 3 or 4 weeks, we're going to be buying the big ones, the 150 plus footers. And I'm not going to really mention a lot of names. Those are in the other content, in other videos, in our PDFs. You can request those or call me or come to Puget Sound. I can get you all of the information on how to get here and see all this stuff in person as it unfolds. This is really going to be a cool teaching of how a multi-$100 million online, offline marketing framework comes together in a very, very short period of time with everyone, almost everyone on Earth not even knowing it's happening, and very few people, I mean very few people that even know it's happening, because only maybe 500 to 1,000 are going to get invited to this dance, and then a whole lot less than that, 100, possibly as many as a few hundred, 200 or 300. The last stand of the 300, King Leonidas Thermopylae Pass, up against Xerxes, is what is going to pull all of the heavy load of this in the early going in this bone marrow build process that I've been working on for quite some years. And I take so much flack from my partners for, when's it going to come out, Steve? What is going to happen? I call it a roaring kitty launch because it's like rolling thunder. You don't know when it's going to strike, and then all of a sudden, wham, and it's done, and you missed it. You missed the boat. And that's part of the power of it, is that it's tilt or withdraw time. That's tilt like a knight, Heath Ledger, A Knight's Tale, James Purefoy about to knight him, or withdraw to your cave and play the little red hen card and say, I'm waiting for the proof that's in the pudding, or whatever people tell themselves if they're not, I repeat, not a venture capitalist involved in a horse racing syndicate where the horse isn't born yet, involved in a large complex condominium project where it hasn't even broken ground yet, but they see the project, or they know the person has, or principals who are involved have had the experience to make this fly, to make it sell, to make them money, and so they lay their money down, as Cher says in her Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves song. Lay your money down or weep, watch, wait, worry, wonder what it would have been like had you been involved. And so it's a powerful posture, we call it posture in the marketing world, to be in. Either you do it or you don't get to do it. Maybe never. This is invite only, and you only have a few days to decide, and you have to do the homework. You have to look deeply into the project. Who are the principals? And it's really not so much about logic as it is about sex. This is sex sells itself. We call it a socially secure income. If it's almost totally about sex, that's what the mega yachts, that's what the private islands, that's what the high country equestrian ranches are all about. And those are the three big ones that are going to happen in the next few weeks. Then you're talking about something that doesn't require lists or follow-up or answering of objections or webinars or any darn thing. You're just talking about somebody saying, that's for me, here it is, here's my money, what's the wire information? There's not any credit card discount, there's not any chargebacks, it's all wire and cashier's check. There's not any follow-up. Follow-up? No, not if it's a 3-day or a 6-day stint and then you're out. You made the decision, you didn't do it. That's what tilt or withdraw is about, and it's powerful, and it's what you want on your side if you're selling big products, is not have to call them up in 6 months. Do you really? You still don't want it? None of that. None of that. They're gone. Just move on. There's 10 million millionaires in North America alone. We're only dealing with a few hundred candidates, and we're only going to have 100 or a little over 100 in this initial core, and then it blows. It turns into a warp drive. It turns into a warp drive fleet. That's what it's going to be, and we're headed in the north of $100 million worth of assets, probably closer to 500 million before summer's over and fall is in, and we're going to be busy rehabbing in parts of the world, rehabbing things that we've purchased and putting captains to work and training a crew of people to run this framework that we've built that's going to change the game in the recruiting space. And this is a $500 billion to $1 trillion space. There's a lot of money moving around here, and there's nothing like this. This is pure and simple monopoly power. That's why it's called Blue Ocean Tribe. It's based on VIBOS, which is Value Innovation Blue Ocean Strategy, from Kim and Mauborn, the Harvard researchers that wrote the book in 2005. So if you don't know what all that means, you need to look deeply into the videos, into the project, into who I'm associated with, who the principals are, who my mates are, and find out how many hundreds of millions, possibly even in excess of $1 billion, that these guys have made over the last year. Some of it, most of not, but some of it with my help, with my editing, with my technology, with my suggestions, with my consulting. Most of it just on their own. I'm learning from literally hundreds and hundreds of big marketers over the last, well, I've been doing this for 35 years now, and you get pretty good at something that you've been doing for 35 years. So this is the start. The fireworks are going, and don't get left. That's the big takeaway from this video. Don't get left. If you can afford it, and you may not be able to if you wait a few days, it's just going to get away from most people's ability to just write a check or a cashier's check or wire the money in. Well, do it. Just do it. Just don't think about it very much. Don't call your mother-in-law. Don't wait for your accountant to get back from vacation to see if it's okay with them. Don't ask your significant other. You're not going to have time. And then it goes up another notch, and now you can't afford it. So just do it. Just do it. Do it now. Don't wait. That's a bad idea with this. This is right place, right time. It's really, really a tiny, narrow. It's like a wormhole. It's a tiny little narrow window that you're going to sneak in, and then you're going to go, oh, I almost didn't do that. Or you're going to think about it for maybe 10 years or 15 years. It's like Dan Fogelberg says, a chance of a lifetime and a lifetime of chance, and it's high time you joined in the dance. I'll show you that video. I'm talking about that, how we all have these chances in life, and sometimes we just don't grab for it. We just don't carpe diem in time, and then, woulda, shoulda, coulda. You don't want woulda, shoulda, coulda in this. You don't want little red hen. You don't want, not I, said Little Red Hen. I don't want to be a baker's dozen. This is all a 13-based solution for a reason. The baker's dozen is the people who bake the cake, not the people who say, I want to see all the pies on the windowsill. I want to see those proof of, the fake ClickBank stuff that you see all over the internet now. That is proof. Look, I have the house, which you can just pick a picture of somebody's house. Look, I have the car, I'm in the car, which you can lease or rent. No, this is seeing it from the inside out as a venture capitalist, as a visionary should. And it's not about warm and fuzzy. This is hardcore. This is the big boys. This is called up to the big leagues. You tend not to say no. If the New York Yankees calls you and says, we want you, we'll work out the details later. It's a lot of money. Get your butt over to New York City. You generally don't say, no, I don't want to be called up to the big leagues. And that's the idea. This is targeting. This is whales, and then the whales call other whales, and then it's full. Oh, look, it filled in an hour. This happens, and there's not very many of these. These are rare, And this one's even more rare because it's so way out there. It took so long to put it together that it just got bigger and more powerful. And here it is. And if you miss it, well, you might have missed it forever.